I don't believe that anybody feels the way I do about you now. And all the roads we have to walk are winding, and all the lights that lead us there are blinding. And there are many things that I would like to say to you, but I don't know how. But maybe you're gonna be the one that saves me. And after all,
Happy Hump Day. Welcome back to Morning Coffee with your host, Rick Alexander. You guys can follow me at @RickAlexander_ and at Lionheart Radio on Instagram if you guys want to interact with me there. I do love knowing when the show resonates, just because, I create this off my own sort of struggle with trying to be successful in life. Like, I essentially like to think I create kind of all of my content out of the trenches, like out of the trenches of adversity, whatever that means at the time. And then obviously it's also like modeled after things I've gone through with clients and things like that. So I just like to know when it resonates with you. And of course, we appreciate you sharing it and getting the word out there for other people. When I was growing up, I remember my parents catching me listening to this Sublime song, and they happened to walk in right at this one part where Brad Knoll, the singer, is talking about PCP and drugs and all this crazy stuff. And I remember them getting mad, and I remember them trying to have this conversation with me about how profoundly it would affect me to listen to music like this. And for me, I remember my case at the time is I'm 15 and I'm like, well, I don't pay attention to it. I don't care about the words. I just really like the music. But, they understood something at that time that it's taken me a long time to understand. And that is, whatever you give your attention to profoundly shapes you at a conscious and subconscious level. So you guys know I do dig quite a bit into the subconscious. Like in the Clarity Academy, we're getting ready to go into a few weeks right now where we're going to be exploring all of the things that we do at a subconscious level. And the reason I like it, it's like that Carl Jung quote, which is until you make the unconscious conscious, it's going to rule your life and you're going to call it fate. And I do believe that a lot of us are going around sort of living within that paradigm. It's like we think about the things in your life where you seem to do all of the things that everybody around you is doing, yet you're not getting the results that are promised based off that thing. The reason that that's happening is because you have a belief that you're not yet aware of about that thing, and that belief is limiting. And so it's not allowing you to get that thing, whatever that is. One of these examples that I go back to a lot, because one of my biggest limiting beliefs in life was about money. And so if you want to think about it in that context, it's like maybe you think that you're doing all of the things that all of these financial gurus and entrepreneurs are saying to do around money. I know that was my case. Yet for whatever reason, I wasn't making it like I wanted to. And what I had to come to the realization of is that I had this unconscious belief about money, and it was very limiting, and it wasn't allowing me to get the level of success that I wanted to get to. So the inherent problem with this is, as we're growing up, we actually don't really have much choice what we give our attention to. And so we give our attention to our parents and the people that raise us and the people that affect us, our teachers, our preachers, whatever that looked like for you. And so if you're giving your attention to these things and then they have those beliefs, you are adopting those beliefs by proxy. But the thing that you have to realize is that you're an adult now. Like, you are at a point in your life where you get to choose the things that get your time and attention. Now, the things that get your time and attention, like I said earlier, profoundly influence you at a very subconscious level and a conscious level. But I think the subconscious is more important to focus on because obviously you're not aware that you're doing it. And so things are holding you back or steering you in a certain direction in life and you don't know why. And the reason is because you're giving your attention to some kind of limiting belief. People talk about the law of attraction and things like that. And to me, I think the way that it's presented is incorrect. I think it's kind of bullshit. But there are some very correct psychological ways that works. But one of the things that's happening within the law of attraction is the fact that you're giving your attention to something and then your brain knows to pick up on whatever that thing that you're giving your attention to. So whatever that thought is. It's the same idea behind when you see a red sports car or you buy a red sports car, then all of a sudden everywhere you go, all you see is red sports cars. You have told your brain to key in on a certain thing, and so it is. And so I think we have a profound responsibility as adults now to realize whatever the programming is, whatever we got, whatever landed us right here now, we sort of have to take the driver's seat, and we have to be our own parents in the way that we need to regulate what we're giving our time and attention to. So time and attention, of course, are the two resources that you can't get more of no matter how much you try. And in knowing that, you should treat it like the money that you've worked the hardest to get. It's like that idea, once you work really hard for money, it's like you don't want to give it to just anything because you know what it took to earn that. That's one of the things that I've learned about entrepreneurship. Like when I was in the military and I was just getting money every 2 weeks, it was like, well, I'll just spend it on this and spend it on this. But now that I earn it through my own thoughts and creativity and hard work, it's like I'm a lot more apt to want to hold on to it than to just spend it on just anything. Well, you should treat your time and attention in that same way. Because wherever you place your time and attention, it's having second, third, and fourth order effects throughout your life. And it's actually shaping the quality of your life on the back end. Now, this is one area where I think all of the new media outlets really do us a big favor because we have podcasts and we have books and Audible and all these different things so that we can be, gaining attention. But the problem is that subconscious beliefs, once they're hardwired, they're very hard to overcome. And so sometimes we actually have to identify them. And the only reason I'm pointing this out is because you might be listening to podcasts and be very success-minded now, but you're still finding that you're like running up against a barrier in a certain area of your life. Well, and so the reason that this is happening is because you've already given your time and attention to something, and it's hardwired a belief, and your subconscious doesn't want to let that go because that's what it understands it needs to do for survival. And so you really have to go about the process of identifying that belief now and building up a case for yourself and proving that it's not true, and then giving your time and attention to something that will help you work past that limiting belief system. And so today, one of the things I would say that you definitely have the capability of doing is to sit down with a pen and paper, or if you want to just think about it, I think that there's kind of a profound thing that happens when you write things down and you see them in black and white, but whatever your style is doesn't really matter. But to think about it in terms of where are you trying to succeed in something, but you seem to always get the same results no matter what you try, even when you think you're trying what all of the success gurus and leaderships and thought leader people are telling you to do. Like, where are you not getting the success that you think you deserve? A lot of times what you have to do is identify those areas in your life and really figure out what the story is around those areas. Think back on your childhood where you gave your time and attention when you didn't have a choice, and just identify them so that you can begin to move past them. And look, I'll say it now just because I think it bears repeating, but you go to work for 40 plus hours a week. You're giving your time and attention to something. If you're leaving there and you're feeling drained, and you're feeling like you don't have energy, or you're feeling like it's not bringing out the best version of you possible, then you need to start thinking about giving your time and attention to other things. Again, sometimes we have to really root through our past to figure out, well, what is it that we believe about this certain thing so we can get past it. And then once we get past it, then we get to choose where we give our time and attention, and then that's going to dictate the quality of our thoughts, which in turn is going to dictate the quality of our actions. And so really think about those limiting beliefs. Think about the things that you're giving your time and attention to now that frankly might not deserve it. Because look, you bring a lot to the table. You have experience, you have an outlook, you're uniquely positioned to talk on certain things that you've had to deal with in a certain way. And quite honestly, it's probably more than even you realize. But you should guard that because you have an inherent worth. And so you really need to think about what you're giving your time and attention to, and whether they are worthy of all that you actually bring to the table, and then whether they're worthy of the future that you actually want for yourself. Because if you're giving your time and attention to low rent things, you're not going to build a high class life. And that's just the bottom line of it. It's super harsh, it sucks, but at the end of the day, we're adults. We have to take the driver's seat in our own life. We have to be our own parents. We have to decide what we give our time and attention to. We have to decide what kind of life we want to live, and then we have to give our time and attention to those types of things. Hopefully this makes sense. I love you guys. I'll talk to you later on Morning Coffee.
She'll lie and steal and cheat and beg you from her knees think she needs it this time. She'll tear a hole in you, the one you can't repair. But I still love her, I don't really care. When we were young, oh, we did enough. When it got cold, ooh, we bundled up. I can't be told, I can't be done. It's better to feel pain than nothing at all. The opposite of love's indifference. So pay attention now. I'm standing on your porch screaming out, and I won't leave until you come downstairs. So keep your head up, keep your love, keep your head up, my love. Keep your head up, love. Keep your head up, love. And I don't blame you, dear, for running like you did all these years. I would do the same, you best believe. And the highway signs say we're close, but I don't read those things anymore. I never trusted my own eyes. When we were young, oh, we did enough. When it got cold, ooh, we bundled up. I can't be told, I can't be done. So keep your head up, keep your love.